Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mary from Linbay Machinery. Today, I will introduce you a very popular cable ladder roll forming machine production line. This production line is under commission stage and it will be shipped overseas soon. So cable tray roll forming machine is a very typical profile in our roll forming industry, and it's very common in commercial and construction industry. We have many other profiles in cable tray roll forming machine too, like a solid bottom, perforated or non-perforated. And like this one, it's the cable ladder. So there normally have two parts to complete the cable ladder. Here is the ladder side wall, and here is the ladder rung. The ladder rung is like a C shape. We have roll forming machine to produce this production too. So they two together can be welded together to be the cable ladder. Okay, here you can use a manual welder to spot weld them together to be a complete cable ladder. And also we can adopt a double roll production line to produce the two production saw. It can help us to save cost and also save the space too. It can be a very cost-effective choices for our business. And the thickness of this production line can up to 2.5 millimeters. So back to our cable ladder. So the cable ladder's width is the length of the rung, and the length of the ladder is the width of the cable sidewall. Okay, so back to our roll forming machine. This production line will include the decoiler, leveler, and the servo feeder, and the punch press, then the roll former, and the hydraulic saw cut, then the out tables. Okay, now let's have a look at the details of the production line. For each production line, we usually start with the decoiler, and here we adopt a 3-ton hydraulic decoiler and the leveler. This is an integrated leveler. The biggest advantage for it, the difference between an integrated and a separated leveler is it can help us to save cost, and also it requires less area for the machine too. And then the hydraulic decoiler can help the machine work more smoothly and steadily compared to the manual decoiler. And the leveler, the thickness here we use is up to 2.5 millimeters. So here we can, the leveler is for eliminate the crossbar on the steel, and also to remove the crossbar on the surface of the coil too. And here you can see there are 9 rollers, 4 on up and 5 on the bottom to let the steel be more flat. And the 4 quench rollers is for tighten up the steel that it not treated or be welded. So, and also this hydraulic decoiler can help us to save much more manpower cost too. Here there will be a control cabinet for control this machine too. It's very favorable when we commission the machine or when we running the machine. So after the decoiler and the leveler, it will be servo feeder and the punch press. And forgot to say, the leveler, when the thickness is over 1.5, it can be a necessary component, which is necessarily can't be eliminated due to the price factor. And then the servo feeder is for highly control the tolerance of the whole production and to match the high speed of the next punch press when we have a yield strength, production requirement or the speed requirement for the whole production. And here the servo feeder will equipped with a separate control cabinet for it too, to control the whole production line more easily and more highly in our control too. And then the punch press, you can see that this punch press is very big. The biggest advantage for we using a punch press is once we set the mold, it can be very fast, very quick, and very efficient compared to the hydraulic one. Here, the downforce pressure of this punch press can be 125 tons, and the punch frequency of this punch press can reach to 40 to 60 times per minute. So you can see this punch press, the efficiency of it is very high, which is very favorable for our whole production. And here, the mold here, because here is for multi-sizes sidewall production, so the punch mold will require not only 1, 2. It will be designed according to your profile. And the change of the mold only needs 1 operator. When we get used to it, it can be very quick too. So when we set the mold, it can be very regular and very quick, which is very good for our production. Okay, so let's go next step. So after the punch press, you can see on the ground there is upgraded limit sensor on the ground. Compared to the former one, this one is much bigger and more sensible. And here you can see the rods. It can be very flexible. It can be lift up and lift down. So to set the position that you want. And here there are screws here let you to tighten up the position here. So like this is the sensor here. So when the coil, too heavy, sorry. When the coil touches the rods, it will stop feeding the coil. In this way to avoid damage to the machine and the coil, which is very good. I think it's a very small but very useful configuration match for the production. Okay. And then comes to our main reformer part. This reformer part will adopt the iron cast and the gearbox drive. The gearbox, you can see, this gearbox size is very big. This is for the thickness of the material. It's rather thick, so we will require more power, more pressure form the steel. And the iron cast structure is nowadays the most strongest way to frame the whole line. It can be very stable, and it can make sure the efficiency is good and work faster, and for bearing much more power. And also the gearbox configuration is for the same reason too. They two together can hold much more power and be more stable and be more efficiency. And you can see the gearbox, it's like one by one, separate individuals. So compared to the traditional chain drive, the gearbox drive can be much more favorable for later maintenance and very good to repair. And then you can see this production line can produce multi-sizes productions. The reason is here. You can see some guide rails here. There are several guide rails here. So because when we need to change the size of the sidewall, we only need to change the data on the PLC board by the touch screen, and the motor will supply the power to the reducer. Then the reducer will transmission the power to the machine, and it will move backward or forward to change the gap between the rollers, and in this way to change the width or the height of the sidewall, and in this way to have an automatic size change function effect, which is very well received for our customers when we have a multi-size requirement. It's very convenient and very useful and very cost-effective for business. So after the roll forming part, it comes to our final part, which is a hydraulic saw cut with separate motor power to supply the power for it. So a flying saw cut, it can make the cutting surface more beautiful, no burrs, no flares, and also more beautiful. And we equipped with a separate motor power to supply the power for the cut, so it can cut the steel without any pause. In this way, to have an automatic cutting effect, it can save our time too to brought up the whole production efficiency in this way. And also, if we adopt a hydraulic cut, we will need to, because this is for multi-sizes production, so it will require many cut modes. If we adopt the saw cut, it can help our customer to save the molds cast too. It can be more cost saving, so it will be the best choices for our customer. So, and then after the cut, then will be the out tables. And you may be worried about the installation and the commission of the machine. There is no worry for that. We will commission the machine before leaving the factory, and when it arrives in your factory, it will be ready to start production. It can save your time and your money, which is very important for business. And we will offer you manual of use and the installation videos and the instruction too. And also the warranty time for you is 5 years for the motor, 2 years for the whole production line, and a lifetime after sales service. So if you are interested in our machine, please subscribe our channel or contact us, leave us inquiries. We will respond as soon as possible and try our best to fulfill your requirement and your needs. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Goodbye.